Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Yeah, I'm back down here with the girls again. There's a reason for it. You know, if you've been watching the channel, you know I'm really fond of having the girls as part of our preparedness plan. But it's come to my attention that there have been some people that have serious regrets and they'll probably never attempt this again. I probably should have made a video like this before. I just haven't. But let's go over the regrets and the mistakes, and hopefully by the end of this video you won't repeat the same ones. Number one, guys, when you're thinking about having your backyard flock, you do need to know that they're going to need an enclosure. Obviously, you're going to need to protect them. They're like any other of our animals. We want to make sure they're protected and taken care of. You're going to have to make sure they have food and water daily. That's a responsibility that you need to take into consideration before you head out and make this part of your preparedness journey. It's wonderful to have the eggs every day. It's wonderful to raise meat birds if you do that. You've got to be prepared to know, though, have you got an area that you can set up for to raise chickens. You got to understand that when you have a backyard flock, you just can't willy-nilly go on vacation and leave them for a week. Somebody's got to come over and take care of them. You've got to understand you need to research your breed. And one of the most important points is that you have people live in the suburbs and they want to have a backyard flock. When you do that, you need to keep in mind and be attentive to your neighbors and your HOAs. Don't get jammed up and go buy a chicken coop and go out and get your chicks and do all this stuff just to be slammed by your HOA or your neighbor and have to get rid of all of that, because that's going to happen if you don't do your research. Also, do your neighbors, do they have pets? Even small dogs can be detrimental to chickens if you let them free range in your backyard and they're not fenced in. And then you're going to have a problem with you and your neighbors. There's going to be a dispute there, or your chickens get on their property and you're going to be a dispute there. These are things you really need to consider, guys. One of the biggest mistakes I believe people make is they go to the feed stores or these big box stores, farm supply, that have all these chicks separated in different tubs and they hadn't been sexed. So you go in there, you're not thinking about that. You buy, say, 5, what you assume are going to be chickens that lay eggs. You raise them, because you're not going to be able to tell roosters from your hens early on. That's why I suggest you go to a reputable feed store or hatchery that has sexed their birds. This is so important, especially if you're wanting to get, you're just first starting out. You don't want to buy 5 chicks and get them raised up and find out 4 of them are roosters. That's going to be a problem. You're going to have to do something with the roosters. You're probably not going to find anybody that you can give them to. If you're in a suburb, they make a lot of noise. Something to consider there too. Even people that live out on homesteads have a rooster, so they can incubate eggs. But still, they'll tell you sometimes that it's annoying with, a rooster in the background all the time. These are things you need to take in consideration. Yes, you're going to have to try to keep them warm in the wintertime if you want them to lay eggs. I went over that just the other day. You're not going to get eggs 365 days a year. You're not going to do that. If your expectations are way high, that's where you're going to regret making these decisions. You're going to have somebody come over and look at their animals. Me personally, I love it. I enjoy taking care of the girls every day. It's a hobby for me. Plus, they sustain us. They give us the eggs. I really do my best to look after them. And I have said that some people don't like paying for food, chicken feed, when they're not laying eggs. I told you how to get around that. I guess the biggest takeaway is, if you are going to raise a backyard flock for sustainability and prepping purposes, you need to take in consideration some of the downfalls to that. Yes, once you have your coops established, once your girls are raised, once you get all that going on, they're pretty easy to handle and pretty easy to take care of, but they still need maintenance. You're still going to have to feed them. You're still going to have to clean the coops out. It don't get done by itself. The biggest thing I believe people think is that if you're going to prep, no matter where you live, you can have chickens and animals and stuff, but sometimes it's not feasible. And then you end up regretting everything you've invested. You regret ever doing it. You regret the time you've invested into it, just to have something, an HOA come out and say, hey, you can't have your birds anymore. So now you got to get rid of your birds. You got to get, you're going to be stuck with a chicken coop or enclosure unless you can find somebody to take all of it. So you can run into a real mess. And I probably should have done this video beforehand when I was talking about chickens, but now that it's come to my attention, obviously I'm making that video. You have to make sure their needs are met as far as, giving them electrolytes in the summertime. Basically, if you want to start out on this journey, guys, take some time. Research what you're looking for. Do you want meat birds? Do you want heavy egg producers? Do this research. Don't just jump into this head first. Yes, it is a rewarding experience. I love it. I really do. But I have heard the regret stories. One had all of her chicks burn up under a heat lamp. Well, I told you the other day I don't use heat lamps. And that's one of the reasons why. Do your research, guys. Make it enjoyable for you and your family, for your kids. Don't make it miserable. Don't have that regret. If it's something that you don't feel comfortable doing, you might want to pursue something else. It's a really rewarding experience. But I just want to make this video, drop it off to you guys. So if you're beginning to do this, you're looking at it and it looks great and all this stuff, it is great. But keep those things in mind. Please make sure you've thought about it, you've researched it, you've done the ins and outs. You're listening to people online that actually have chickens, that look after them and take care of them, and free range them. We free range, then they go back in the coop, but somebody's got to be there at dusk to put the, let them shut the door so you don't have predators get to them. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot of responsibility. You're not just going to set them and forget them once you grow them up. Growing them up is a good chore too. You're going to have to make sure that, you're looking after them as chicks. You're keeping them warm as chicks. You're cleaning out their enclosure as chicks. There's a lot to it. So don't have regrets is all this video is about, guys. I wish I'd have made it sooner. I'm sorry I didn't. But hopefully if you're going to start a backyard flock, this video has been somewhat informative. Something to think about, guys. If you found the video helpful, please like, subscribe, share. I do appreciate it so we can get out to other people that may be starting their journey. Anyway, I'm Tad. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. We will talk about it.